reflected on last season, and we looked at, okay, what can we do better? How can we strengthen ourselves to help deliver that manufacturer title for Hyundai this year? And really, after finishing first and second in the championship, I couldn't really ask much more of the team or our drivers. So what we needed was more bullets in the gun. One of our big concerns going into this season adding a third car is making sure that we added drivers that were going to fit in with what we already had here.
I knew Bryan from my years in Indy Lights. I raced against his son Colton. At the end of this last season, Bryan sent me a message saying that he would love to try me out and see how I did in one of his cars. And obviously I have no experience in sports car racing.
Bryan just really blew us away. A front wheel drive car, closed fender, closed wheel car, all new to him, and he was immediately right on the pace.
My history with Bryan Herta Autosport, he won the Rookie of the Year for the Indy 500 as well as the Sunoco Rookie of the Year award for the entire season. I've done 4 Indy 500 since then, but this will be my first full season in IMSA.
I had a lot of experience working with Gavin Chavez. He was an obvious candidate right from the get-go. I feel really excited about that 33 car. They're going to make us better. They're going to push our 21 and 98 guys really hard this year.
We've come into this season with basically a 5-car assault, 3 cars from Bryan Herta, 2 cars from 47 Motorsports.
We're going to be formidable. I wouldn't want to have to race us.
This season, 5 cars. It just shows for Hyundai how important it is to win the 2020's Manufacturer Championship.
Yeah, so we qualified second on the front row. Really just going to try to be keeping it clean for my stint and give Mark a great race car and see where we are after that.
All right, bud, got you loud and clear. This is the fun part. Let's go do this.
A big draft and move into turn 1. We're going to see that all race with these cars lined up so close in speed and lap time. The draft is going to be big and when to time it.
Audi, Hyundai, Honda, all in the one threesome right there.
He's doing all right. He just needs to settle in. It'll be fine.
You're doing a really good job. We've settled in pretty nicely here on the pace. Let's just hang with those guys and take care of those tires as best you can.
Look at this fight going on here. The 33 of Ryan Norman from Indy Lights to IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Racing. He said that took some getting used to, but he's looking just fine.
I was keeping the tires nice and cool. Didn't want to overdo them. And Audis are super fast on the straight, so I just had to kind of wait until their tires fell off a little bit and I could pass them in the infield. It was very hard to keep them behind on the straightaways.
The nature of this track, we run a lot of time at wide open throttle on the banking, and so it really puts top speed at a premium. Our car excels in braking and in cornering, and there isn't enough of that here for us.
Yeah, try and keep pressure and temps, and we think he's trying to draft and save fuel.
This is where the Hyundais are strong. Late in a stint, they're a little bit better on tires than the Audis. It seems like we see a great run off of turn 6 there, but we know how strong the Audis have been on the straightaway.
Run tires and fuel.
Run tires and fuel. I'm putting that one back in.
Yeah.
That's right. He's a lot faster right now than us. Just tuck in there. Try and push maybe. And we think he's really tight on fuel. We're not convinced he can make it.
Not bad.
Audi beat us. This was their type of track. You know, if we go back a year, we didn't finish with either car. Here we finished 4th, 5th, and 6th.
I'm confident that as we transition out of Daytona and go to more of a twisty handling track, we'll show which car has the better balance.
I was actually at the St. Pete IndyCar race, and that event got canceled while we were there, getting ready to go out to start practicing. So really, right on the heels of that, Sebring was postponed, and that's when we kind of went into this lockdown period where states started closing down, mandatory stay-at-home orders. Life changed for everybody.
Simple but effective design. And the notches facing away from you, the notches on the actual plexi facing towards you.
When we moved to Speedway, Indiana this year, I got to know some of the folks at the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. When this COVID-19 shutdown happened, I reached out and said, you know, what can we do to help? We got skilled workers, we got a shop, what can we do? And they came back and said, well, can you put together masks?
That's how you do it, folks.
Really proud of what the team has done, and I think really took a page out of Hyundai's notebook. You know, they've been very active socially and contributing in a lot of ways, and you know, we were inspired to try and do the same.
What are you guys doing? You going to run? You going to run, Milo?
So lately, with all the extra time we got on our hands, took up a new challenge of completing my first full marathon by the end of the year, end of 2020. So I've been running a lot, but thankfully I got a great running partner. That's Milo. That's Border Collie. Great time in kind of weird times. So
we got Milo over here. She's obsessed with this ball. We call the ball Mr. Green. We're in my office / sim room here at home. Got my simulator right here with some Fanatec gear and a 49-inch curved Samsung monitor.
One of the comments that, you know, I think Gabby made is this is the longest he's ever been out of a race car in his entire life. And I think that's common amongst a lot of guys. You know, they just haven't gone months without ever driving anything or going to the track. So, you know, some people are adjusting better than others. You know, having been in the sport for 30 plus years now, you know, I think when we look back on this year, it's going to stand out as a year to remember. But when we get back to the track, hopefully we can look back and say, you know, we overcame the challenge that was in front of us as a country from the health side. And then hopefully as a team, we'd say we overcame the challenge that was in front of us on the racetrack. After 174 days, the best part of going back to racing is just being at the track again.
The best part of being back is just the focus and the adrenaline.
The adrenaline and the blood's pumping.
No margin for error, just on the limit.
Just the smell of the rubber and the fuel in the pits.
felt like a piece of my life was missing.
Feeling the G's in the corners and under the brakes and really challenging yourself to go into a really fast corner and not use any brakes.
There's a lot of extra challenges. You know, even back in the workshop, the way we have to work and the amount of time we have to spend dedicated to just cleaning and sanitizing the facility, wearing masks, you know, all the safety protocols, the screenings, and then you take that to a racetrack and it's just times 10. So you think about things like traveling and hotels and more rental cars so that we can space guys out while we're on the road to do everything we can do to stay safe.
3, 2, 1, stop.
Mo cars, mo problems kind of comes to mind when you talk about the expansion into 4. You know, we obviously have 8 drivers now that need to be, you know, managed. We have 4 strategists, 4 crew chiefs, a large number of crew people.
Bryan Herta Autosport cars were excellent in TCR, in qualifying.
In Sebring, the car was just fantastic. It was on rails.
Harry really surprised us at the start of Sebring. He made such a strong start.
Harry Gottsacker in the 21 got by that red 33 car of Ryan Norman.
Brian and I at the start were duking it out. It was definitely some intense racing.
Battle for the lead with the Hyundais. Ryan Norman trying to go around the inside of Harry Gottsacker. Tight right there, still trying to nose under.
Before the race, Brian told us that there's absolutely no Hyundai to Hyundai contact.
You know, it was just some good, clean racing.
And at TCR, it's Bryan Herta Autosport. Hyundai dominated the weekend. Mark Wilkins and Harry Gottsacker win in the Hyundai Veloster.
The Hyundai 1-2-3 sweep on the podium was great, and the 47 Motorsports guys came home in 3rd. It was a great team, great drivers too, so it was a good race. I think the big difference between Sebring and Daytona was just the confidence.
We really used that downtime that got forced on us to our best advantage. The guys kept working, improving the cars, and I think we came back to Sebring better prepared than we've ever been.
Lights are out on the pace car. Pair up, pair up.
Here we go. Look at this angry bunch.
I don't know. My brakes aren't working very well. So my brakes didn't work in turn 1.
Knocked back, or what do you feel?
Just spongy.
drama here between two of the Hyundais. That's the 21. That's Godsacker's car, I believe, may have come together with Philippi. I can't believe they got away with it.
Back up here, we see the 33 car, Ryan Norman. Calvin, this car was so fast at Sebring.
And Ryan Norman, Spencer Brockman running 1-2. It's a Hyundai 1-2 at the moment.
Okay, Spencer, the gap is increasing.
I need as much fuel savings as you can. Every little bit helps.
It's too late. They've already used too much fuel. Right now, Harry can make it. Ryan and Spencer have used too much fuel.
We got a full course yellow.
No pressure from behind. Bring it home.
That's game right there.
A lot of debris up turn 8, lots of debris.
For the second successive race, Hyundai sweep the podium. It's Gabby Chavez, Ryan Norman, victorious here at Road America. And a Bryan Herta Autosport clean sweep.
Well, really just an incredible race. I mean, a lot of drama, different fuel strategies. We weren't sure which way it was going to play out. And at the end, it came right for all of them, and we ended up with our podium sweep.
I remember the start being quite interesting, you know, a lot of just GS cars kind of flying all over the place.
We see this in TCR, the battle for second, Michael Lewis, Harry Gottsacker.
Can't win it, but you can lose it all in turn 1.
At VIR, Ryan and Gabby were having such a strong race early on. You know, they really looked like they were going to maybe be the car to beat.
I made a mistake and we ended up going off the track.
Michael and Mason stepped up and they really executed a super strong second half of the race.
I just remember seeing, you know, the 3 other cars right behind me and just kind of attacking me, and I was like, all right, it's time to go.
Mark Wilkins, Harry Gottsacker, it would be 3 podium finishes in a row, but the big bottle of champagne awaits the 98, Michael Lewis.
Coming across that finish line, I remember after that long stint, it was like, oh, finally a relief, and I was so happy.
The intra-team rivalry is heated up to another level, and we've got 4 cars, and 3 of them are racing for a championship.
You know, when we added the 3rd car this year, Bryan Herta reached out to me saying, hey, is there any special number? And I actually said, hey, if 33 is available, that would be great, because, you know, my youngest son, Reese Imhoff, he was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is a rare bone cancer, at age 12. And after a 3-year battle, he moved to heaven March 10th of last year. Unfortunately, 33 wasn't available. Another car had it, and I didn't know this. Bryan reached out to that team, and they, without hesitation, said, absolutely, you can take it, you know, in honor of Reese. So that's a special car. It's his favorite color, red. And so with Gabby and Ryan behind the wheel, a shot at the championship, it's pretty cool to see.
33 across the line, Gabby Chavez, Ryan Norman, victory for Hyundai and Bryan Herta Autosport.
Mid-Ohio was a great event for us because it was a hard event for us. I think that struggle really forced us to refocus and re-energize and say, hey, look, let's not expect that it's going to be the way it's been all year long, and we're going to have to keep fighting to keep our cars at the front.
It just seems like the car is so strong. We've dominated some races.
Gabby Chavez ended up getting a 2nd place finish, which was incredible.
Confident that at the end of the year, it's going to be one of us that'll be a top step of the championship.
We had to find our footing again. We had to come out of that weekend and say, okay, how do we move forward? How do we get back to our competitive position that we've been in? Road Atlanta was the most competitive TCR race that we've seen in a couple years in this class.
Battling against Maxon and Lewis the whole time up front, you know, our Hyundais were real strong that weekend.
I'm Tyler Gonzalez, I'm 16 years old, and I'm driving the Hyundai Veloster and TCR car.
I'm Tyler Maxon, I'm 16 years old, and I'm driving the Hyundai Veloster and TCR car. We can't rent a car, but we can't buy a hotel room, and that's about it. But we can drive race cars at 150 miles an hour, so it's kind of funny.
This is 3 between the teammates. Bryan Herta said they can race long, they don't hit each other. That's exactly what they're doing right now.
I was sitting in the lead, and I saw that Tyler Maxon was driving. I knew he was really aggressive, and I knew I had to just do everything I could to keep him behind me.
Tyler Maxon got around one of the Bryan Herta Autosport Hyundais for the lead.
Just took it to the inside.
And the 16-year-old, we've seen that hood flapping throughout the day.
How calm can this 16-year-old be? You see Michael Lewis, big run, big draft down the back straightaway, gonna try to do the same move that Tyler Maxson did on him.
Michael's such a cagey racer, and that's what experience does for you.
We're into the final lap. The defending champion, Michael Lewis, and the just-turned 16-year-old Tyler Maxson, not done yet.
Oh, he's wide there at turn 5 apex.
Lewis eases just in front, has the preferred line. Hyundai's going after it. 16-year-old Tyler Maxson on debut, trying to get the defending champion, Michael Lewis. Looks to the outside, coming around the final turn. On his bumper, to the line. It's Bryan Herta Autosport. Michael Lewis wins by a half a car length on Maxson. What a finish.
After Road Atlanta and that incredible finish by Michael, we came out leading the points championship for driver championship and manufacturer championship.
We're coming into Laguna second in points, and it's going to come down to these last 2 races. Every position is going to count, every point's going to count. So all Gabby and I can do is just give it all we have.
Well, this is one of the coolest events that we've been able to be part of this year. The eve of the final race here at Sebring, one of the local Veloster N clubs came out. We got to meet a lot of their members. They brought some of their cars to show us, which is really cool. And to see such a passionate group of people who love Veloster N's as much as we do is really fun. It gets us juiced up, and we definitely don't want to let them down tomorrow.
I told all the other guys, we're not winning a race today, we're winning a championship. Let's just be smooth, calm, collected, no mistakes today.
It's come down to this final race to decide the TCR champion. Extra tight at the top of the standings between 2 of the Bryan Herta Autosport Hyundais. This championship's not going to be decided until the checkered flag.
Looks like there's some wreck in the background there. That's the 29 car.
I tried to make a move around the outside to the lead, and about mid-corner, it just seems like I got tapped and spun around.
Remember, these are teammates, so definitely not what you want to have. Lap 1, turn 1, 2 teammates getting together. But it's front suspension damage on the 98, so as you guys alluded to, this is one of our championship contenders, trailed by just 4 coming into this race, and the crew is on the wall.
Is it bodywork rubbing or is it a flat tire?
It just feels really unstable. I don't know, more than just a wheel. Something bent.
It's a bummer for sure. I mean, we're back in the race. The team got it fixed. If there's some yellows, we can maybe stay out and get our laps back.
33 is still in charge, but Parker, the 61 Roadshagger Audi, has a little better chance than they did about 15 minutes ago. But now the 33 continues to make their way through, and this is to get back to second, getting around Max Faulkner there.
Well, based on a 220, I think he's okay. Tell me he was the second fastest car that lap, but tell him just hang in there and just do his best right now.
The championship leader is back up front. Ryan Norman got around Roy Block. It looked like Block was having some mechanical issues.
This yellow hit at a little bit of an unusual moment because we're not quite in the window to do our driver change. But if it stays yellow long enough, we might split our strategy. We might bring a couple of them back in and get the driver change done on the tail of this yellow so that's out of the way.
They got to come in to protect against the yellow, and he will hit pit lane right now to turn it over to Gabby Chavez.
Tell those guys, don't spend any time worrying about the car. Just do the normal pit stop.
And they came in here with a 4-point points lead in their rival and their teammate in that championship battle.
Just bring it home here. We're good. Bring it home.
I think if you're thinking about team orders right now, I would imagine that Bryan Herta would probably try and elect to keep this 33 car run behind Wilkins and Gottzacker's car.
We're looking good for the championship, so let's just bring it home safely and see what we have.
Last lap of the season, the championship and the race still in play.
Gabby, it's Brian. You're free to race. Free to race. Just make sure you give each other plenty of room, Poppy.
Have more.
Racing for a championship.
Gabby Chavez is going to have another great run.
With the last best chances, he'll look to the outside. Chavez against his teammate, won't take the chance there. And in TCR, the championship still not fully settled. Bryan Herta Autosport will finish 1-2. And the 21 of Mark Wilkins wins the race. The 33, Gabby Chavez. as Ryan Norman will win the TCR Championship.
We are 2020 TCR champions, man. Great season. I love you, man.
They took 1, 2, 3 in the championship, so it's a fantastic year for all of us.
Fittingly dramatic finish to the year to get 1, 2, 3 in the championship. Thrilled for Hyundai, manufacturer champion, team champion, and driver's champion. It just can't get better than that. This year we finished with 6 Hyundais out there, and I think we're gonna see even more next year, so nothing but blue sky. Besides just feeling a great sense of pride and a great sense of relief, having accomplished the goals we set out for ourselves and for Hyundai and our drivers and our team, that's amazing. But literally, as I was walking to victory lane, the first thing that was in my mind is, how are we gonna do better next year?